Hey guys, welcome back to Real Guide. I hope you're all having an incredible day. Now, I would consider myself a pretty social and outgoing person, but I'll be honest, there's a lot of times when I'm really awkward at a party or have trouble making new friends. It happens to everyone. I mean, do you ever find yourself hovering over the food table at a party because you're scared to approach someone, or eating by yourself at work because you know your coworkers are gonna come and try to talk to you and you're just not in the mood? Well, it's 2021. It's a new year and a new you. And if you're someone who wants to overcome shyness and become a more social and outgoing person, then stay tuned because this video is for you. First things first, just know you're not alone. There are 17 million Americans that struggle with some sort of social anxiety, and it's completely normal. But I'm gonna show you guys 7 different tricks to become a more social and outgoing person and to combat that shyness once and for all. So the first way to become a less shy person is to actually rehearse conversation starters. So part of becoming less shy and making new friends is actually having to go up to people and talk to them. And you've probably noticed that once you break the ice, the ball starts rolling and conversations start flowing. It becomes so much easier to connect with somebody. So start by knowing a certain opening line that you know is going to work. You might want to say, "Hey, how do you know so-and-so?" Compliments are also a great way to start a conversation. People love hearing nice things about themselves and talking about themselves. So maybe say something like, "Hey, I love that jacket you're wearing." They're probably going to respond with, "Thank you so much." You can even follow it up with, "Where did you get it?" Or, "I had one that looked just like it, but I lost it." There you go. Now a conversation is flowing. You're talking about jackets. You're talking about losing items. Who knows where the conversation will go? Maybe this person can become a really good friend of yours. One thing to watch out for is to keep the questions open-ended. Stray away from primarily yes or no answers, because once someone answers yes or no, if you don't have a follow-up question ready to go, boom, the conversation is over. If you're also somebody who doesn't really like to talk about themselves or feels uncomfortable sharing personal stories or personal details, asking question after question puts the ball in their court. It keeps the spotlight on them. The second way to overcome shyness is to keep the focus primarily on the other person. If you're a naturally shy person, you probably shift your attention to only thinking, "Shoot, what am I gonna say next?" Or just primarily getting too in your head about how the conversation is going. If you focus primarily on the other person talking, it leaves more space in your head to actually be able to think about what's next, what you're going to say next. So you're not constantly freaking out about how you're being perceived or if you're saying the right thing, or if you're giving too much personal detail into your own life. Make eye contact and focus primarily more on what the person is saying than how you're being perceived. The conversation will come off way more naturally, and you'll be able to have genuine follow-up questions or comments when you're actively listening and looking in their eyes rather than just being in your own head the whole time. The third way to overcome your shyness is to remember your strengths. When attempting to talk to a new person for the first time, or really just going into any uncomfortable situation for the first time, you can probably become a little bit insecure and get lost with the negative thoughts going on in your head. But in reality, you do have a lot of great strengths, and by boosting up your self-confidence, it'll prevent you from derailing a conversation. Something that can be really beneficial is writing down all your strengths in a notebook and looking at them before the uncomfortable situation or before that first interaction. Even looking at yourself in the mirror and saying these affirmations out loud can also help you to believe them. It can boost your self-confidence, and then you'll walk into any uncomfortable situation or any first conversation with a new person, and you'll feel so much more at ease. The fourth way to overcome your shyness is to not listen to that negative voice in your head. One thing to note, first and foremost, is that those negative thoughts in your head, those negative beliefs, are not you and they're not true. You are not your negative thoughts. You are the conscious being that is aware of those negative thoughts being presented in your head by your own insecurities. You can be a confident and not shy person if you simply convince yourself otherwise, and don't listen to those negative thoughts. When you're nervous about talking to someone for the first time or just doing something out of your comfort zone, you're going to be presented with a lot of negative thoughts. But know that you are not your negative thoughts, and oftentimes these thoughts aren't even the truth. You are just a conscious being that is just aware of the thoughts that are passing by, and the negative thoughts will pass if you allow them to. Having negative, insecure thoughts can really prevent you from doing amazing things and living the confident, outgoing life that you are striving to live. Something to also note is that there's nothing wrong with being a little bit shy. Shy people tend to have really rich and interesting inner lives. But if you are someone who is trying to be more outgoing and be more social, this can really inhibit that. So talk yourself down. Tell yourself that these are not true statements that are going on in my head. Saying positive affirmations, pretty much the opposite of the negative thoughts in your head, is going to seriously change your life. Because the more you say something, the more you start to believe it, and the more that it becomes truth. So the fifth way to overcome being shy is to not empower those bullies. So we all know those people, those life of the party jokesters that end up saying some pretty hurtful or embarrassing things. And if you feel like someone is cutting someone else down or joking too harshly with somebody or yourself, don't stand up for it, because that can really shut down you or other shy people in this situation. If you already have some negative self-talk saying that you're super shy, you're not social, you're not good enough to be friends with these people, then having those bullies say that nasty stuff is clearly not helpful. So don't stand up for it. If you're in a situation, for example, and someone says something rude about you, the way you look, your race, your gender, or someone else's, a great way to combat that is to simply say, "Why is that funny?" Or, "I don't get it." That will cause them to think internally about what they just said. They'll probably realize that they said something offensive, but you yourself standing tall and not letting them get away with it shows that you are super confident and now you're in control. So the sixth way to get over your shyness and start being more outgoing is to try new things. Socializing is a skill, and with any skill, it takes practice. Any first time you've done anything, you probably weren't too good at it. That first math class you were in that was super difficult, but eventually you passed with an A+ in the class. Or maybe that one time you decided to pick up violin lessons and it was so incredibly complex, but now you're a master at it. Same thing with socializing. If you want to be more outgoing, you just simply have to put yourself in those situations, and eventually your brain will say, "Hey, we're not scared of this stuff anymore. We've done it, we survived it, and we'll be able to do it again." Your confidence will surely grow when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations and you are able to succeed through them. And having more confidence in going to that club or going out of your comfort zone and talking to that person will give you so much more confidence. The more confident you are in yourself, the more you're going to forget about any of your social anxiety. The seventh way to overcome shyness is to try and not care so much about what other people think. We left this one for last because it is honestly one of the most important, if not the most important, aspects of overcoming shyness. Because what people think of you does not matter, but what you think of yourself truly does. Your perception is your reality. That being said, there's going to be some people that aren't going to like you, aren't going to want to talk to you, and that's okay. They are not the ones that are in control of your life. You are. You are the one that gets to decide if you're proud of who you are or you don't like yourself. They don't get to decide that. Let's say, for example, you are 6 feet tall and somebody comes up to you and asks you how tall you are, and you say you're 6 feet tall, and they immediately respond with, "Wow, okay, so like you're pretty short then." that wouldn't really faze you. You'd probably say, what? Like, is that supposed to be a joke? Or, okay, I don't really care because that doesn't apply to me. But the thing is, when people start to say things to you that feel like they hit a little bit close to home, maybe they comment that you're being a little quiet or, oh, you're a pretty reserved person, because that hits home, it kind of hurts you. It kind of impacts then how you feel about yourself. But if you treat every single thing that someone says to you as, it's just their perception of me, then it keeps your own ball in your own court. It keeps your ability to have a better perception of yourself in your own head. They're allowed to have whatever perception of you they want, but your perception of yourself is the single most important thing. If you have a positive perception of yourself, you're going to be more confident and you're going to stop caring about what those other people say. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent." And I think this is really, really true. Stop letting those negative thoughts from yourself or from other people impact how you really view yourself. You are in control of your own mental state. You are in control of feeling the best positive version of yourself. And if you want to stop being shy, don't let other people convince you that you're shy. Don't let those negative thoughts convince you that you're shy or that you're not outgoing. You are the master of your own journey. So learn to like yourself. Practice talking to yourself in the mirror and telling yourself how outgoing you are, how confident you are, and eventually you'll believe it. Those people, they don't matter. Their opinion does not matter. The more you learn to love yourself, the more confident you'll be, and the less you're going to care when someone says something that is true or not true, because you only care about what you feel about yourself. And as a quick little bonus tip, something that I have found that works really well is whenever I'm feeling shy, insecure, or anything like that, I simply roll my shoulders back and stick my chest out and my chin up. You'll be amazed at how much this works. It literally signals to your brain that, oh, we're feeling confident, we're sticking our chest out, we're not feeling vulnerable, and then your brain will literally follow in suit. So there you guys have it, 7 ways to combat your shyness and to be a more confident person. This will truly change your life. Try 1 or all 7 of these different ideas and let us know in the comments which ones really worked for you. Also, make sure you like and subscribe so you see more and more of these self-help, self-improvement videos so you can start living the most fulfilling and best life that you possibly can. I'm Danielle, and we'll see you next time.